Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we are looking at something truly extraordinary. We're going to explore how to effectively install a completely new Superhuman OS right into your brain. We are drawing directly from an incredible set of advanced cognitive and strategic frameworks that are specifically designed to elevate your everyday performance. If you've ever felt like, you're only tapping into a tiny fraction of your true potential, well, this is the exact blueprint you need. So, I want to ask you, what if you could unlock a hidden brain superpower? Seriously, I want you to really imagine having direct access to your own dormant mental abilities, just sitting there, waiting to be activated through structured action. The source material we're exploring today operates on this fascinating premise that these superpowers, they aren't magic. There's no trick here. They are highly specific mental frameworks. By adopting different personas and structural approaches, you can fundamentally change how you process information, influence other people, and literally view the entire world. Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to break this down into 5 phases. 1. Architecting the superhuman mind. 2. Upgrading internal cognitive processing. 3. Mastering output and strategy. 4. The art of high-stakes influence. And finally, 5. Unlocking boundless visionary thinking. All right, kicking things off with Phase 1, Architecting the Superhuman Mind, the blueprint for high achievers. The source text makes it crystal clear right from the jump. We are aiming to transform isolated frameworks into a single, cohesive superhuman blueprint. These aren't just random, disconnected productivity hacks. Think of this as a total operating system upgrade for your cognitive life. When you link these frameworks together, when you actually combine cognitive enhancement with strategic foresight, you stop just reacting to your environment. You start architecting it. Moving right along to Phase 2, Upgrading internal cognitive processing. Rewire and learn. So the first framework here is all about adopting a very specific persona. You're going to act as a neuroplasticity expert and cognitive enhancer. The goal? To design a highly focused 5-day mental training program. But we're not just talking about doing crosswords or Sudoku here. The source dictates that you include daily exercises rooted in real science, right alongside unconventional thought experiments. It has to be unconventional but still deeply practical, specifically designed to make it feel like you are finally unlocking that hidden brain superpower we talked about earlier. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how it helps you learn 10 times faster. You basically channel a personal tutor with infinite patience. Let's say you take an incredibly complex topic. The source uses quantum mechanics or machine learning as examples, and you teach it so a total beginner could grasp it. You break it down into bite-sized lessons, apply analogies from everyday life, and use practical exercises to master it in record time. It literally turns an impossible mountain of information into a perfectly paved path. But hey, internal processing isn't just about cramming facts, right? It's about self-awareness. This framework asks you to act as a psychological mirror with deep insight. Say you're dealing with a frustrating habit, like constantly procrastinating on a big project. This psychological mirror forces you to step back, analyze your thought patterns, uncover your hidden motivations, and identify those tricky blind spots. From there, you're fully equipped to take actionable steps to improve your decision-making and build up your emotional resilience. It's an absolutely profound self-correction mechanism. Which brings us perfectly to Phase 3, Mastering Output and Strategy, Perform and Solve. To really master problem solving, you've got to step into the shoes of a world-class strategist. When a specific challenge pops up, this mindset forces you to stay cool, analyze the situation, and break it down into actionable steps. And you don't just stop at some basic surface-level plan. You build out a detailed roadmap that explicitly anticipates potential obstacles. Crucially, it includes creative workarounds using pure logic and real-world examples. It completely removes panic from the equation and replaces it with cold, calculated strategy. And to actually execute that strategy, your daily routine has to be absolutely dialed in. Here, you basically become your own peak performance coach to design a personalized 24-hour schedule. So if your profile is a night owl looking for energy maximization, you apply cutting-edge productivity techniques suited exactly to that late-night rhythm. If you're a 9-to-5 worker writing a book on the side, you optimize your output through carefully structured habits and personalized break schedules. The whole point of his framework, to make you feel completely unstoppable, no matter what your day looks like. All right, shifting gears to Phase 4, the art of high-stakes influence, persuade and negotiate. Now, if you want to bend the world to your strategic will, you need to boost those persuasion skills by becoming a master rhetorician. Let's say you need to convince a skeptical boss of something tough. The source uses the example of arguing that remote work actually boosts productivity. You can't just hand them a spreadsheet and hope for the best. You have to craft a compelling narrative wrapped tightly around emotional hooks, but deeply grounded by concrete, data-driven points. So you've got your compelling narrative, your emotional hooks, and your data. But the true masterstroke here, the real game changer, is preemption. You have to anticipate at least 3 counter-arguments and literally refute them preemptively. By the time your skeptic even thinks of an objection, you have already dismantled it in front of them. That is exactly how you win an argument before the other person even gets a chance to speak. And when we're talking about really high-stakes situations, we're talking asking for a salary raise or closing a massive business deal, you need to channel a superhuman negotiator who has mastered both psychology and strategy. To guarantee you feel invincible sitting at that table, you need 2 distinct things prepared. First, the script, which gives you the exact phrases and body language tips. Second, the strategy, which outlines your contingency plans for any resistance you might face. By prepping both the script and the fallback strategy, there is no way you aren't walking into that room completely prepared for anything. Finally, we reach phase 5, unlocking boundless visionary thinking, forecast, and decode. To achieve that next level, superhuman foresight, you're going to transform into a futuristic oracle. Your mission here is to predict 3 major trends that will shape key sectors like technology, healthcare, or society as a whole over the next decade. And you aren't just taking wild guesses here. You are basing these predictions strictly on hard, current data, emerging patterns, and rigorous logical extrapolation. Let's move along and see how this builds out over a decade-long timeline. In year 1, your focus is entirely on analyzing current data and spotting those emerging patterns early. Fast forward to year 5, and you are actively monitoring how these major shaping trends are actually evolving out there in your target sectors. And then by year 10, because you used your superhuman foresight, you are perfectly positioned to prepare for and capitalize on the long-term implications of these massive shifts. You are officially playing the long game. Okay, this final framework is definitely the most expansive of the whole shebang. You transform into a cosmic philosopher with just boundless curiosity. You task this persona with explaining the absolute greatest mysteries of existence, whether we're talking about the meaning of life, the total enigma of dark matter, or the very origins of consciousness. And you deliver this as if you have completely cracked the code to the universe. I actually want to read this exact quote directly from the source framework, because it really hits the nail on the head. Use a mix of science, logic, and speculative insight to blow my mind. That is exactly the standard we are aiming for here, folks. It's not just about reciting dry facts. It's about pushing the absolute outer limits of your intellectual depth to synthesize science and logic into profound speculative insight. And that, my friends, brings us to the ultimate question. The source framework demands that after exploring all these cosmic mysteries, you suggest a personal experiment to explore them even further. So I gotta ask you, now that you have the complete blueprint for this superhuman OS, everything from rapid learning and peak performance to high-stakes influence and cosmic foresight, what personal experiment will you design today to explore the universe's secrets? The tools are literally all right here. The execution is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some incredible visionary thinking in your own life.